Ever wondered why some players who try so hard to play well, putting in crazy amount of hours and really caring about the game, struggle, while others who perhaps don't care as much and put in half as much work make the game seem simple and effortless? Well, if you're the first type of player, then you might want to tune in because this one is for you. And to no surprise here, I was definitely the first type of player for many years in my career until I finally figured it out, right? And the thing is, I was so freaking frustrated. I still remember I was so freaking frustrated and angry that, I put in so much work and other players who didn't care got so much more playing time. And it really pissed me off. Like I was making sure I ate right, my nutrition had to be on point, my sleep schedule, my weightlifting, conditioning, just stretching, coming in early, staying in late, like all this stuff. I was really focused on outworking everybody, and still I would often find myself sitting on the bench. While some players who perhaps didn't have half as much skill as I did, would just play so much more and they would even play better. So of course it made sense for coach to play them instead of me because every time when I was playing, it's just I was playing with this dark cloud over me. Okay, and the thing was that I cared so much, right? I was obsessed with the game, and I put in so much work, and I just want to prove everyone. I wanted to prove myself how good I can be, right? I wanted to be the best possible player I could be, right? And if I go to my college, right, this wasn't just when I was a kid, right? This was actually when I was in college as well. So I remember my first couple of years of college basketball. I was playing for this coach who just didn't seem to find an opportunity for me. Yes, he recruited me and it felt like, he believed in me, but at that time it felt like no matter what I did, he just didn't play me, right? I was again I pride myself on this that I was always the hardest working player on every team, and I was first one coming there, last one going out, putting in extra work, And in college there would be like 2 to 3 a days every single day, and I would literally like live in the gym. And coach noticed that, like he saw that how hard I was working. He was actually amazed by my work ethic, but he still didn't play me. And the problem was, right, that I was playing with this dark cloud over me, right? It was like I was obsessed with something. It was like my energy was just this like negative type of vibes that, was the reason that either consciously or subconsciously coach didn't play me, right? Where other players were just like this effortless and simple type of vibe, not really caring and just being upbeat and happy, and just like in this like relaxed mood versus myself. Like I was stressed, I was nervous, I was tense, I had this like dark cloud over me, as mentioned, right? And for that reason, either that was consciously or subconsciously done by coach, like he just didn't want to play me. And even when he did, right, even when he did, when I went into game, I was like so nervous, I was like so tense, and my skill level didn't show. Like I had skills, but like when I was in the game, it was like when I was like a beginner. I just went crazy and make stupid plays, make stupid mistakes, and obviously even when he did get me an opportunity, he would put me back in the bench because I was not a good player when I was playing, right? And the thing is, right, it was not until a bit later that I realized why that was happening, right? And the question that we want to ask ourselves is like, why do we try so hard? Why do we get so tense? Why do we then, start forcing the game? And, what is that main cause running in the background? And the answer to that is fear. Okay, so Fear is why we try so hard, because we are afraid, because we want to be seen, or we are afraid that we're going to be overlooked, or whatever the case may be. Fear is that thing running in the background, and when we are consumed by fear the way I was, then you play terrible, right? And today, I actually want to offer an exercise, okay, that is inspired by none other than Kobe freaking Bryant, the way he dealt with fear. Because the thing is, fear is not actually a bad thing. It's just a matter of how to use it, right? And if you know how to use it, how to break it down, right, and not be consumed by it, then fear is actually your best friend. Okay, and in this exercise today, we're gonna break down the fear so that you're able to easily maneuver through it, use it to play better, right, rather than being consumed by it. Okay, and the way this works, there is 5 steps to it. Number one, okay, so you're actually gonna take a blank piece of paper, okay, and make a pyramid, right? And imagine a pyramid right now, okay, drawing a pyramid, and on the top there's one box, okay, so one box on the top, 2 boxes underneath that, 3 boxes underneath that, 4 boxes underneath that, and 5 boxes underneath that. Okay, and the way that this works, okay, for the first one on the top, you're actually going to ask yourself, what is it that I'm truly afraid of? Okay, so you're gonna dive deep, you're gonna dig deep into yourself and ask yourself, like, what are you truly afraid of? Okay, so we are breaking down the fear, right? So on this top box, you're gonna write what you're truly afraid of. So one thing that you're truly afraid of, a big fear, okay, it can be, you can do this for one fear or for multiple fears, which I advise you to do, okay, but one at a time, right? And then underneath that, there's 2 boxes, okay, and you're gonna ask yourself, what would happen if this fear comes true? Okay, so what's like the worst case scenario that can happen if this fear comes true, right? So for example, on the top, you write, I'm truly afraid of never making it to professional league, right? So underneath that, for example, you can have, what's the worst case scenario? Well, I never live up to my full potential and I'm seen as a failure as a basketball player, right? This would be like, for example, 2 worst case scenarios. Okay, underneath that there's 3 boxes, so here you're going to ask yourself, what hidden gift might come from this, right? So if we go back to this scenario of you actually not reaching the professional world, what hidden gift might come from this? Okay, so write down 3 positive. For example, let's just name one. I would find a new purpose that's truly meaningful to me. I don't know, for example, something like this, right? 3 potential positive that would happen if this fear actually does come true, but at the same time, what positives could get out of it, right? And then underneath that, there's 4 boxes, and you're gonna ask yourself, what will happen if I keep carrying this fear? Right, so if this fear continuously consumed me, what will happen? And for example, for again coming back to this example that I gave, you might still not be able to play to your full potential. You will still hesitate in the game. You will, just not live up to what you truly feel like you're meant to be doing in this world, right? Like, so you will be held back. Okay, so just write out 4 ways this limits you if left unchecked. Okay, so now the last one, okay, this is an interesting one. You're gonna write down 5 new opportunities. Okay, so you're gonna close your eyes and imagine that you transcend this fear. What happens then? Okay, so five new opportunities. Obviously, one of those would be I make it professionally. I play at a high level. I play in the NBA. I play in college, depending on where you currently are. And, just live up to my highest potential as a basketball player and truly live my dreams, right? Like five new opportunities. Okay, so this all goes to your pyramid, and lastly, you want to commit to an action. Okay, so you're gonna think of one action that you can do that will help you transcend this fear. Okay, anything you think about, just close your eyes, perhaps meditate on this, and just ask yourself, like, what is one action I need to do to help me transcend this fear? Okay, and just use your intuition and see what comes to you. And I want to go back to the man himself who inspired this exercise, Kobe Bryant, right? And I want to finish this video with saying one of his famous quotes: "Fear is only your imagination running your mind." Okay, he often used these words, and he used this exercise to break those fears down. So hopefully you're going to do the same, and you will not allow those fears to drive your game, but rather you'll be taking charge of those fears, break them down, and not let them consume you, but rather being able to channel them into the performance and therefore play better and play present. If you enjoyed this exercise and you're ready to master the mental, emotional, and spiritual side of the game of basketball, then hit subscribe and join me on the journey as we are preparing something special, something that will completely transform the way the game is played forever. See you on the other side.